Start recording. Hey, buddies.
Hey, friends.
Welcome back to the Cosmic Compass. I'm your host, Jen. I don't know if we ever do that. I don't know why I said that, but this is Liz.
Co-host.
Oh, man. I am, well, yeah, we're co-host. We're both hosts. You know what I mean. Anyways, I'm shuffling our affirmator cards that Kenda got, a couple weeks ago for us. So,
yeah.
Let's see. Oh, this one. One card. Oh, options. It has a weird ice cream with chicken and shrimp and a hot dog and I don't know. But it says, as I open to the abundant possibilities of my life's path, I am reminded that I always have unlimited options. Life is a buffet, and I allow myself to choose whatever makes me happiest without limiting thoughts like you can't put mac and cheese on your baked potato. That's crazy considering what we're talking about today.
I was just going to say that. That card really pumped me up.
Yeah, hell yeah. So do you want to go ahead and tell everybody what we're talking about today?
We're talking about manifestation.
Manifestations. Hell yeah. So let's talk about it.
Oh my gosh, where to even begin? Really, I was like thinking about it today and I was like, this is such a broad topic.
Yes.
So many different ways to go about it. So it's, again, like we talked about all the time, it's about finding what works for you. But basics, what is manifestation? Would you like to start?
Sure.
With your
so
interpretation of that?
my interpretation of manifesting is pretty much putting things in your mind's eye into reality. And I'm a firm believer, and I think that this actually is like backed by a lot of master manifestors, that like it all comes from a place of love and light positivity. So like in order to get the things, or else, you know, if you're filled with negativity trying to manifest something, it's going to come to you in a way that you really didn't want. But I mean, at the same time, a lot of times your manifestations don't really quite take shape the way that you envisioned it. You know, like for example, if you manifest money, like, oh my god, I just need, I'm manifesting $1,000 because I really want $1,000, whatever the reason is, however you manifest. And then like the next day you find like a quarter on the ground and you're like, that's not what I wanted. But that's just the universe saying, hey, I heard you, here's some monies, you know. So it might not always come the way you want, but just keep at it.
Yeah. I think that our affirmator card hit it kind of right on the head. Life is a buffet.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that like what you had said about if you are trying to manifest, but you're kind of stewing in negativity, it's, you know, either not going to happen or it just seems like your life isn't working out or everything's hard or whatever. It's a kind of a simple concept of the basic laws of attraction, which is like attracts like.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're in a negative place, you just are a magnet for negativity and chaos and all the things that you don't want. But by focusing on what you don't want, that's what you're attracting into your life. So imagine, this is so exciting.
Yeah.
But if you just focus on the things that you did want, flip the script, and it'd be like, what? How did life become so easy? How did I start getting all the things that I ever wanted?
Yeah.
And yes, they may not be exactly what you envisioned in your brain, but it's going to be exactly what you were supposed to receive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That, I mean, I think that sums it up perfectly. And, you know, I think a lot of people can relate going back to like keeping, like staying in that negative mindset. You know, a lot of people, I'm just as guilty of it. Like with everything that's been going on with me, it's like, everything's so negative and like life sucks. And then you get hit in the face again and you're like, oh, why me? And you stay in that negative mindset. You're going to keep hitting, keep getting hit in the face with negativity.
And then how many times when we first met was I like, "Ah, I just feel like I'm being punished. What did I ever do that I feel like I'm being punished?" And like when you look at it from that mindset, that's all you're going to ever get.
Yeah.
And so you were like, you're not being punished. Obstacles are lessons or opportunities. And sometimes they're like the bumpers, like at a bowling alley,
Mm-hmm.
that keep your ball like in the lane where it's supposed to be, that says, hey, you're not really supposed to go that way. So when it feels like square peg, round hole, or you're pushing a rock uphill, or however you want to see it, maybe it's because you're going the wrong way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got to listen to the universe, like the universe, your angels, ancestors, your source, whatever it is that you believe in, like they're definitely going to guide you in the right direction. And the more you meet them with friction and go against where they're trying to guide you, the more friction you're going to be met with.
Absolutely. And that kind of, again, this topic is going to probably be all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
But yep, I do that
Oh
sometimes.
yeah, it happens.
Really excited about
Yeah.
what I was going to say, and then I lost it.
I literally did that too. I was talking to Kenda today. We had such a great conversation today, and we were like all over the place with like conversation. We were on the phone for so long, and I was like, oh my god, like I didn't even realize that much time had passed. Like that's like just how the conversation was going, and I was like, started talking about something, and I was like, and I lost it. And I don't know if you just heard that little burp in my throat. I'm so sorry, but I heard it as I inhaled in. I was like, oh. Anyways, I was like,
oh, signs from the universe.
There you go. I knew we were gonna get there.
Yeah, so you were talking about listening to the universe. So how do we listen to the universe?
Okay, so there's oh my god, there's so many ways to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Because the universe, for me, like this is just my own personal experience. A lot of signs that I receive from the universe are sequential numbers. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Sequential numbers.
Well, it's not repeating numbers.
So repeating numbers. So I get a lot of repeating numbers. My dreams definitely get signs from my dreams, and then songs. Like, sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and it's crazy. Yeah, like you guys might think I'm crazy, but TikTok is another big one. Like I especially like my main account, I'm in such a weird algorithm right now. That freaked me out. I'm sorry. I saw a shadow over there, and then Sheldon put his head on my lap over here. It freaked me out. Anyways, so I'm in such a weird algorithm on my main account, but like I'll just be kind of scrolling through, and I'll just be like, I just like the past couple days, I'm just fucking drained, and then I'll get this
Same.
like out of nowhere. You're drained too. We got to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get like this motivational video that comes across, and it's just bam, right on fucking cue, exactly what I needed to hear, But
yeah, and then there's also I think we talked about in one of our other episodes about slowing down, and I saw that hummingbird. I've never seen a hummingbird like in real life ever.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know, a foot away from me, and just random, just one, and I saw it once more, like one more time after that, but it's not like he comes around every day. And then lately I've been seeing owls, and owls are, I actually saw a real life one this morning on my way home from the gym.
Nice.
He's sitting on the fence post across the street. But owls are actually usually seen, not heard, because they're nocturnal animals, and like they have really good camouflage and all this kind of stuff. So like there's meaning there. They are known to have like a connection to the heavens, or the universe, or whatever you want to, they act like different planes, other worlds, things like that. They're also known for like wisdom, and there's like a whole different, meaning. So you just kind of find the one that resonates with you. But like little things like that, constantly seeing yellow butterflies, always yellow, it means something. When a butterfly keeps landing on you, like randomly, it means something.
I'm sorry, like this is just really crazy to me right now, because like the fact that me and you are both drained, like, other people I talk to, they're also feeling very drained, and for some reason, yellow has been like a key color that a lot of us are seeing, and I don't know what that means.
And so that's the thing. So that's when we have to like slow down and start. So like repeating numbers a lot of the time. Yeah, it was something I always heard as a kid. Oh, it's 11:11, make a wish. But there's like so much more behind
Yeah.
that than just make a wish. But those are different ways that the universe is trying to communicate with you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had mentioned something in one of our other podcasts about how you're like, oh man, I just need a sign, and then look down and it's 444.
Yeah.
And that's literally a sign that like, hey buddy, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. That you're under the universe's protection, and you know that your angels are there, type of thing. Like it's so crazy. And you can also, when it comes like trying to circle back to manifesting, so one thing that you can do to like ask the universe for a sign is put meaning into something. So you know, you can say, look, I want, you know, I need like some sort of blessing with money, like I'm struggling or something. And this is obviously just an example, just super surface level, because I think, you know, everybody could use some money. But anyways, you know, say you're asking for some money and you're just like, just if you could like show me a sign that you see me, if or hear me. So if I see like a red cardinal tomorrow, because we don't see cardinals very often, you know. So if I see a red cardinal tomorrow, then I know that you hear me. And then, you know, you slow down and you pay attention, like all of a sudden you see a red cardinal, there's your sign. So you can put meanings to things like when you're talking to, you know, the universe, God, source, whatever it is that you follow, for, you know, I guess these cues that your manifestations are being heard.
Mm-hmm. And that, I just love how this conversation is flowing, because that goes into like another way to communicate to the universe is basically through prayer.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really just a very focused, intentionalized statement into the universe.
Mm-hmm.
We had talked about this in previous episodes about how the world is a mirror. It's a reflection of, you know, what you're putting out. So is it far-fetched to think that the words that you speak come back?
Yeah.
Right? So because you're putting that out into the universe. I say that all the time around here. Might as well say something like, just like, I'm like, don't put that out into the universe.
I do the same thing. I do the same thing, and then I kind of get like a little slap on the hand, because I'll say something like, you're putting that in the universe. I'm like, I'm not manifesting, I'm just trying to vent. So like I have to check myself, like when I'm like venting, and like, or if I'm just like thinking about these thoughts, like, you know, reflecting on my day, I'll be like, okay, listen up, universe, I'm literally not manifesting, just let me work through what I'm working through. Like I'm not trying to make any of this into a reality. Same thing, like I think I told you that I tell myself bedtime stories.
No.
Yeah. Oh god. I tell myself bedtime stories to like just, and I put myself in like weird situation. Not weird, but like just situations I wouldn't typically find in, just to kind of work through whatever it is I'm working through. So like if I'm, how do I want to say this without sounding crazy?
Just let it go.
I don't know if I should, but like I don't know what I apologize if you guys can hear that. Like I know it's recording from my computer, and like something keeps connecting and disconnecting from my computer. So if you hear the little boop, whatever, it's fine. Anyways, so say I'm working on like, we'll say self-worth. Like I'm really struggling with self-worth. So then maybe I tell myself a bedtime story where I am like the most popular TikToker and famous person, you know, like situation that's not going to come true or whatever. And I'll just like, before I tell myself a bedtime story, like, listen, I'm literally not manifesting this because I don't want to be famous. I don't want that type of exposure on me. It's just, I'm feeling, you know, worthless right now. So I'm trying to make myself feel better by telling myself these bedtime stories. So I hope that the universe gets that. Like I try to counter all the time.
That's a tool that is actually one way that you can help or increase your manifestation, and that's to visualize yourself where you want to be.
Yeah.
So there's visualization, there's feeling, and that's where I think meditation comes in, and it's just taking that time to just sit in that space and like, what would it feel like if I got whatever it is that you want? So let's say, for example, like for me, my dream farm. And I sit there and I go, okay, what is my version of my dream farm in this space that I'm in now?
Mm-hmm.
And I do. I think about like what color the barn is. I think about whether or not I have concrete floors or dirt floors. You know, what kind of amenities do I have in the barn? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? Like you bring in all your senses and it increases your vibration and really starts putting you on the same plane as that thing that you want and where you can feel it, taste it,
Mm-hmm.
just like yeah, where almost to the point where when you open your eyes and it didn't just magically appear in front
Yeah.
of you, you're like, "Hmm." But you keep doing that on a regular basis. So consistency is key
Mm-hmm.
as well. So there's some things that can help you with that. Some people journal.
Mm-hmm.
I know for you, journaling's not really something that resonates with you, but I enjoyed it. I
Mm-hmm.
kind of fell off the wagon, but it started, I didn't know where to start. So it started with just like recapping my day. And then I started to see some commonalities in the things that I was writing throughout the day and stuff like that. So that was helpful for me, but it also helps you put some physicality, I guess would be the word,
Yeah.
into what it is that you want. So now
Yeah.
not only have you thought about it, pictured it in your mind, felt it, smelled it, tasted it, whatever, but now you've made it real by
Mm-hmm.
putting it on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Or they have like the 5 by 55 technique, or they
Mm-hmm.
have the 4 by 44 technique.
The
Um,
369 technique.
so like 5 by 55 and 4 by 44 are kind of the same thing. It's just different uh, power behind it
Mm-hmm.
based off of the number that you're using.
Mm-hmm.
So, but either one can get you there. You can do both. But like 5 by 55 is you write down whatever you come up with, like an intention statement or
Mm-hmm.
a desire statement. And those statements should be in a present tense,
Mm-hmm.
not I wish I had or I really want. It's I have or I'm going to get,
Mm-hmm.
like, because that's how you're going to attract that or magnetize that into you is thinking, well, I already have it.
Right.
I just got to get to it, or it
Yeah.
has to get to me. It's already mine. I just have to bring it to me.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've ever watched any of the Marvel movies where Thor just like reaches out and it might
Yeah.
take a minute, but
Yeah.
eventually his hammer comes, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same concept. Depending on how far away his hammer is, that could
Mm-hmm.
take a day, it could take hours, it could take weeks, months, doesn't
Yeah.
it all depends on your consistency and how kind of devoted you are to achieving that thing
Mm-hmm.
or manifesting that into your life. So attracting that into your life.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, all good techniques and following up with affirmations.
Yeah.
That's another big one. So, you got visualizing, journaling, affirmations, and I think that's it. I mean, I'm
Well,
sure there's more, but like,
oh, there's a shit ton more,
yeah.
and it's all about uh, what you do. So, like when we come from a place of lack,
Mhm.
right? That's being needy, right?
Mhm.
You kind of have to think about like, do you like it when someone's like, oh man, I really wish like I had this, and like
Yeah.
come from like a woe is me place. The universe doesn't want to hear that shit. The
No.
universe is like, bro, you already know what you're supposed to be doing. So like just figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear your whining. But when you're like, this is what I want, show me how to get it or help me figure it out,
Mhm.
that's different,
Right.
right? So being cognizant of those things. So you can have like I want in an affirmation or an intention statement, but that want feeling needs to be like a desire, like I want it, not like
Yeah.
oh man, I want that,
Yeah, like
you
I
know?
really want it.
Yeah. And so when you, but again, that's just focusing your intentions
Mhm.
and making sure that your message is clear so that you get what it is that you want from the universe.
Yeah. And I think that's like the biggest what's the word I'm looking for? The biggest issue when it comes to people manifesting is because they expect it to be like a genie in a bottle. Like, oh, if I manifest tonight, I'm going to get what I want tomorrow. Like, I've seen people in these different groups that I follow or different TikTokers that I follow, and I see people in the comment section like, I really have a big test tomorrow. Like, how do I manifest? Like, you know, acing that test. That's like tomorrow. Like, you can like say say the words and feel the feelings, but like at the same time, it's not a genie in a
Did you
bottle. Like
study?
you still have to do the things. So like coming from a place of lack, like, no, you fucked up. You should have studied and prepared
Yeah.
yourself. So, you can ask the universe, like, please let me do really well. Like or just phrase it, I'm going to do really well on that test tomorrow, and then study and do the things you need to do in order to do it well. So like the universe isn't just going to be like, oh, here you go, with absolutely no work whatsoever. Like you have to put in the work to
Absolutely.
do these things. Like the universe isn't going to gift Liz with like the farm of her dreams tomorrow. Like that's not how it works, but the universe will guide Liz in the direction to achieve that in her life.
Or you start seeing like synchronicities, like I was literally just thinking about that, and now we're having this conversation, and oh, what the crap? You, for example, I will give you a prime example. We've talked about my journey, like physical, actual travel down the road
Mm-hmm.
journey to get here into Kansas, right
Yeah.
from New York. And I had horses to ship. It was not something that I felt comfortable doing by myself. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, oh my God. So I start putting in bids, and I'm like, this shit's expensive. Like, what am I going to do? So I was like, I don't know. I'll work it out. I
Mm-hmm.
literally just let the thought go. Yeah, it's something that was very important. We were on a very short timeline.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to my neighbor one day, and I was like, I also need to get rid of some of the buildings that I have. And she was like, I know this guy that'll probably buy your barn. And I'm like, no way. So I called the guy, and he called me like immediately. I don't know if you remember, we were in the office
Yeah.
together when he called. Super awesome guy. And he calls me. He's like, hey, yeah, I'll come by tomorrow and take a look at it. Well, it turns out he's talking to my husband when he comes to look at the barn, and he travels all over the place for horse competitions, like all over the country. And he was like, well, I'll tell you what, I'd be willing to ship your animals. What? And we wound up
Uh-oh.
trading services for a building. So it was like no cash ever, exchanged.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a bartering thing. He's like, I need a building and you need horses shipped. I'll coordinate it. And it
Yeah.
was so seamless. It was just so mind blowing how it just synchronized and came together. So it's like
Yeah.
those things are don't take them for granted. Like take them
Yeah.
for what they are. It's not a coincidence. And it's
Right.
the universe going, hey, you asked me for some help. Here you go.
Yeah, exactly. Just remember there are no coincidences. I don't know if you keep hearing Sheldon. Like, can you hear him? Okay.
No,
Because he's really getting on my nerves and he's like
no,
starting to stress me out.
no, I can't
Like,
hear.
okay. Because I'm just like, dude, like just let us get through the show. Like this is what makes me so mad about my dog. And I know we're getting completely off topic, but like we were literally downstairs just hanging out on the couch. And like he had all that time. I let him out after dinner. And he had all that time just hanging out on the couch, teasing here on. And then literally as soon as I come up here and start talking to Liz, here he comes. I want to play the game. Let me outside so I can jump on the door to come back inside. Anyways, back to manifesting.
But yeah, that's something that, actually happened in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's possible. And you just have to be quiet and listen.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that like literally all the time. I don't
Mm-hmm.
mean that you have to just sit in silence and be like, speak to
Right.
me. I
Just
just mean that if you ask for something, be prepared for the answer, because it
yeah.
could come in so many different ways. And if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it.
Yeah.
And it's okay if you miss it, because they'll keep trying to tell you
Mm-hmm.
until you get it.
Yeah. And I think the key thing there is like if you do miss it, like don't get frustrated and start getting into that, place of lack where you're like, "Ugh, I've asked you for 2 months now for this one thing. And even though the universe has been showing you signs, now you're getting frustrated. Now the universe is like, bitch, I fucking gave you the signs that it was coming and for you to just stay positive and keep doing what you're doing. And now, fuck that. Yank, they're going to take it away from me.
I think that the universe is very forgiving. It is not vindictful, but vindictive. I'm making up
Vindictive.
words here.
I
But
don't
yeah,
know
it'll
about
get
that.
quiet. Well, what it is, this is my just thoughts on it, is that it's not that the universe cut you off. You cut yourself off.
Yeah.
You're blocking yourself from receiving.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing that we can talk about as far as how successful you are with your manifestations
Mhm.
is blockers. So obviously negativity is a big one. Um, Frustration, uh, impatience.
Mhm.
If you're kind of picking up the theme here, these are all words that have kind of negative connotations to them.
Mhm.
You start to block yourself. You start to vibrate on a very low level. And so it's basically now like you're whispering
Yeah.
and no one can hear you.
Mhm.
And so just keep that in mind. Okay, let me take a little time to just self reflect here. Is there something maybe I could be doing better?
Mhm.
And really sit with no judgment. Be like, oh, yeah, you know what? I have been kind of a brat lately or whatever.
Yeah.
And so just things to keep in mind and that's why we started with, self love with our first episode, because that's kind of where it starts.
Mhm.
That's where you start to increase that vibrational level, is to start loving yourself. And
Mhm.
now you get into what you had mentioned before in that love and light space. And you'd be surprised if you're paying attention. And gratitude.
Yes,
Gratitude.
lots of gratitude like that. And I think that like that's been like the biggest thing for me because, I mean, you hit it right on the head as far as like you're lowering your vibration when you're putting yourself into those different negative feelings. So, you counter it and keep yourself in a positive mindset, but you also have to show gratitude. Like I said, nothing in life is free, whether that's your physical money or, paying it forward through like love and light or however you want to phrase that. Show that you're grateful for the things that you do have and things that the universe has blessed you with. Like, we talked about the 17 seconds of gratitude while you're like just driving to work. You just take 17 seconds. That was, I can't remember the name of that podcast of that lady that talked about that you showed me.
Oh, Manifesting 101.
Yeah, I can't remember her name. She's great, by
Kimberly
the way.
Fitton.
There you go, Kimberly Fitton. If you guys get a chance, go listen to her. Like, I think she's great because she kind of ties in a little religion with all this stuff too. So because I'm gonna get off track, but anyways, if you think about it, if you want to look at it from a religious, I guess, aspect or point of view, prayer is really just manifestation. I think you already said that. So like, you when you thank the Lord for all these things, like it's the same thing. And I've had some people come at me because they're religious and they're like, you can't put anyone above God. Like, I'm not. Like, I'm a Christian. God created the universe. Like, if you think that one man, I got it, he's God, but like if you think one man is going to do it by himself with the bajillion people that's on this earth, I'm sorry, but you're crazy. Like, that's why God has the angels and he has the powers of the universe and all those things to help him with all that. If you want to look at it from, that's just my point of view of it, if you want to look at it from a religious aspect, but
No, she has a really great way of tying it all together, I
mhm.
think,
Yeah.
where it's all essentially, again, I'll let her. I don't want to paraphrase and take away from the impact of her statement. So it's something worth checking out for just
Yeah.
like, again, another resource, another point of view.
Mhm.
Um, that's where I started, and she definitely kind of got me in a whole nother light. And one of the things that she recommends is before you go to sleep and when you wake up, before you've even gotten out of bed or before you fall asleep, you just say things that you can be thankful for. I'm thankful
Mhm.
for my hands that help me function and work, and be able to do my job and feed myself. I'm thankful for my feet that ground me and carry me and balance me. And
Mhm.
even little things like that. I'm thankful for my teeth, that I still have my teeth
Yeah.
and that I can eat. uh whatever it is, it doesn't have to be anything specific, or it just,
Major.
what
Like,
are you thankful? Find
yeah.
something we started doing at the dinner table, which I actually really love, is at the end of the day when we eat dinner, everybody has to say one, whatever the best part of their day was, or at least one good thing that happened to them during the day,
I
whatever it
love
was.
that. I love that. And
And it's on the days where you feel like, well, my day really kind of sucked,
yeah.
or it was an okay day. It helps you find one thing, at least
Mhm.
one thing that you could say, you know what? Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Whether it be there was no traffic,
Mhm.
or the detour you had to take because of the traffic was a really pleasant ride, or my son, he's like, "Hey, I got to come home from school today and take a nap."
Oh yeah. I mean,
I'll
and it
take it.
helps, yeah, it helps you appreciate the more smaller things, because I think nowadays society as a whole, we're so materialistic, and we want these big grand gestures, but it's like we got to get back to like being able to appreciate the smaller things and putting ourselves back and like just appreciating those smaller things and having a
And
more
see,
positive
and it's
outlook.
so funny, and I keep tying it back into this one experience because it's the one that's most fresh in my mind, and really the most kind of big grand gesture that happened to me since I started my journey. But this whole move, and the whole time that we were in New York, we lived on a small property, and my husband makes fun of me. He mocks me now because like we moved there and it was great, super awesome. Got to move the horses home. I wasn't boarding anymore. And then I like forgot to be thankful for what I had. And I'd be like, "Ah, can't do anything on this postage stamp. It's not enough room to do anything." And like just really being like, I want a new trailer and I want a new truck and everybody else has one. And just really being in that kind of, I won't call it keeping up with the Joneses, but just, I guess, jealousy or
Mhm.
whatever you want to call it, just being in a, this is not what I want. I want something else.
Mhm.
But really in that, from a place of lack, from a place of just whiny, shut the hell. Like if it was one of my kids talking to me like that, I'd
Yeah.
be like, get out of my face.
Yeah.
Um,
And you're also comparing yourself to others, which is like
exactly.
another place you don't want to be in.
Exactly. Because everybody's journey is different.
Mhm.
And anyway, so I started kind of honing in on this whole manifesting thing and just the spiritual outlook. And I had my aha moment, and like I came home from that drive, and like the trees were pink and everything seemed green, where when I left everything just seemed like blah, see it every day,
Yeah.
who cares, but it was like somebody, everything was in technicolor. It was
Mhm.
like when the Wizard of Oz goes from black and white to color, and like at first you kind of don't notice it, but then you're like, oh my gosh, look at all these colors, right? It
Yeah.
was like that kind of like, oh my god. And then I was like, it's actually really great here.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, I'm freaking so lucky. I have always wanted horses in my life, and they're
Mhm.
here.
Yeah.
I wanted them in my backyard, and they're here. I wanted this, and I got it. Wow. I just really did not take, I just wasn't grateful for all the things that had come to me.
Mhm.
And it was because I didn't realize what I was doing when I was doing it. And so it just seemed haphazard. And when I finally realized, no, dum dum, that was you. You wanted it and it came into your life.
Mhm.
Right. And so I was just like, I'm going to start appreciating this. I'm going to start taking care of it better. I'm going to start doing this. Right. But all those years, I was manifesting like a really lump of shit, probably because I'm coming from but I was putting that out into the universe that I did want more.
Right.
Right. But it wasn't coming to me because I was vibrating on a low level, but I did put it out there.
Mhm.
And so when I got on that level where now I'm vibrating on the same energy as what I want, look how fast it happened. All of a sudden, the moment that I was like, you know what? I'm content with what I have. I'm going to just figure out how to make this work. It was a little bittersweet because I was like, well, fuck, man, I just kind of like started really liking this place. And now it got taken away from me.
Yeah.
But it was a good thing
Mhm.
because then I came here and I have more land and I have less house. And so I feel like that balance is better because it's less things that takes me less to clean my house and stay up on the things that I need to do inside, and leaves me more time for the things that I want to do outside. Plus, because of where I am, there's less chores. And so I have more like fun time. But once I got in a positive mindset and I was grateful for the things that had already been brought into my life, almost, I can't say instantaneously because it was months went by,
Yeah.
but like it didn't take that long,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I really, really started focusing on it, and then I had the energy of my husband there. So we were like this just giant ball of, positivity and focused intention. No time flat. It just happened.
Yeah.
So was it exactly what I thought? No. But it's pretty darn close.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna make it work. And I go outside every day and I'm just like, sometimes I just look around and I'm like in awe. I just stand there. I probably look like a crazy person. People driving down the road and like my neighbors, because I just stand there like, this is all mine. And I get to do whatever I want with it. And it's so freaking beautiful. Somebody else might drive by and go, I don't know why you buy that. But like I love it.
Yeah.
And we're doing repairs on the house. And like sometimes my husband and I just look at each other and we're like, this is the best thing that ever happened to us. And we're super thankful.
Mm-hmm.
And it really does make a difference. I know that was like a long-winded story, but
no, but it was, I mean, it was perfect because like it just shows like, like I said, it's not always going to show up in the way exactly that you envision in your head. I mean, I'm literally going through something very similar. Like I'm on leave right now, and the whole purpose of me being on leave, the main purpose of me being on leave was to buy a house. And I just ran into all kinds of speed bumps, and I'm just like, okay, well, I guess I'm not supposed to buy a house right now. And I was really down in the dumps about it yesterday, but today I'm just like, it's just not the time. Like the universe has something planned for me, and I'm going to find exactly what I want, where I want, that's going to fit, the way that it needs to. And then it'll happen. So,
well, what about you when you remember when you were doing the whole diagram on the computer of what you wanted your dog kennel to look like?
Yeah. Yeah. So that was, I guess that was kind of, it's not journaling, but I'm putting it into like a physical, what?
I said visualizing.
Visualizing. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of visualizing. So I had drawn a diagram. I still have it of what my dream kennel facility would look like. And, so maybe that's why I can't buy a house right now. Like maybe, when I go to look for a house in a few months, that I'm going to find property that has enough land to where I can eventually build my dream facility and just run business from my house, right there. So who knows? Like it's just, I don't know what the universe has in store, but I just stay in a positive mindset. Like I let myself be down in the dumps. I let myself feel those feelings, but the don't stay there. So like you're allowed to feel the feelings, just don't stay there.
Yeah. So, but when you were drawing that and like really just like, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do, it wasn't a place that you thought would work for you, but one like came up in the area that you were looking at.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, so this whole time I'm like, I drew up this facility, and I'm getting ready to do an internship, well, hopefully do an internship there in Ohio with a kennel facility. Well, when I went home last time to kind of look around, my mom sent me this link to a property that's for sale. And at first I saw the price. I didn't even look at it because I'm like, this has got to be a joke, which is kind of weird because anyways, I'm not even going to get into that. But anyways, I was talking to my dad and he's like, did you look at it? I said, no, Dad. Like, that's way outside my budget. Like, I can't afford that. And he's like, Jen, you need to look at it. It's absolutely perfect. And I'm like, what? He's like, it's perfect for you. Just go look at it. So I open up the link and I start looking at it, and it's a kennel facility. This guy is literally selling his house and his business and, around the area I was originally looking. And I was like, oh my God. So I went and I looked at it, but then I was like, this isn't for me. Like this place, it needs too much work and it's just not the time. So I appreciate the universe saying, hey, I hear you with your kennel facility, but I am aware that that's not the time. So time will tell when it is the time. Because there's so many things I want to do when I retire. And, starting a business right away might not be it. Maybe the universe wants to give me that time to travel and enjoy being a civilian for a few months before I start working like a dog again. No pun intended.
But it did come up as a possibility out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And well, not really out of nowhere. You made it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, you went there and you're like, yeah, this isn't really the place for me. And that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's trial and error. And it's something that I've learned about myself or a new development in my growth is I don't want to settle anymore. Like if yeah, obviously, right, if I want a Lamborghini, right, and I wind up with I don't even know something equivalent. I'm not really a car person, but it's the first like expensive thing. But you know, it's not just like you said, it's not just going to magically show up in my driveway one day, but little things like we were picking out curtains.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't want to get my curtains from Walmart this time. I want like nice curtains. And if they don't have the color that I want, or basically, like if I don't love it, I'm not buying it.
Mm-hmm.
Where before I'd be like, well, they don't have what I wanted, but I guess this will work. And then wind up just looking at it going, why did I buy that? So if I can't find it, I just leave. If they don't have what I want, or I don't find something that's like, oh, yes, this is it. Or, oh, that'll work. I just don't. And I'm also going through. So this is another thing I think is a good tip. Cluttered space equals a cluttered mind. It's very hard for us to focus our intentions or focus on anything when our house is a mess. And that really does have a lot of correlation with the brain.
Mm-hmm.
So it jumbles your brain, and mostly just with thoughts like, oh man, I really need to do my laundry, or oh man, I need to do something like with that. I'm going through that right now, going through a big purge because I just can't stand looking at it anymore. There's just something that's drawing me to simplify my life. And even to the point where I got a new computer when I got here, and I was having some anxiety about losing the data from my old computer. And I was like, please back it up in like 7 different places. I can't lose that data. Right, whatever. But remember when I first got here, I was kind of wavering faith, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm feeling more connected and balanced and centered. And so I finally got all my profile stuff figured out. And the computer guys came over and like, all right, we're ready to show you how to transfer all your data over. And I was like, it's okay. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I don't want it. I was looking at some of these folders. They're from like years ago. The places that I don't even work anymore. And the documents are probably outdated, revised. What's the other word I'm looking for? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, no
It's
longer
irrelevant.
relevant.
Yeah. And superseded, right?
Yeah.
So I literally went through my computer today and just deleted it all.
Oh, wow.
And the computer kept giving me all these errors like, you sure you want to do that? Because you do this, it's permanent.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yep.
Delete.
And it was just a little thing, and it's digital.
Yeah.
But like my desktop has like 10 folders on it now, instead of being like I needed an extension screen. And I realized like some of them I opened because I was like, well, let me just see what's it. I'm not kidding. Have never touched it since I put it in there.
Oh, wow.
Emails, same thing. I've been hoarding emails. When I went to create my PST file to back up all my emails, because I have all these like subfolders for organization or whatever. And the computer guy was like, this is going to take probably the rest of the day. That's a lot of data. I had like some 74 gigs worth of data. Like it was 15 years of stuff that I was like, oh, I'm going to need that. Oh, I'm going to need that. Oh, that's good stuff. Let me hold on to that.
Oh my gosh. I couldn't even imagine. Yeah, just you got to let that shit go. Like, I mean,
let it go. Like, you know what? If I don't have it, if someone does come back and ask me, hey, do you have this pay file from freaking forever and a half ago? I'm like, no, sorry, I don't.
That's your too bad. I used to be the same way, like especially with work emails, and finally, like I got into this habit, especially here now, because like literally all the emails that I used to receive from Fort Campbell about whatever bullshit, I literally don't need. So I go through now and I deleted everything. And when it's time, like when the month changes over, I go back and I delete another month. Like I only have this year. That's it. I do still have like some old documents, but I need to do the same thing that you did, just purge. Like, and I've been thinking about like purging, stuff around the house too, because I mean, I'm getting ready to move. I do it anyways every time I get ready to move, like, purge through some
Hmm.
stuff. But like, yeah, I need to purge through like stuff on my computer because I I'm about to retire. Ain't nobody gonna call me and be like, "Hey, do you still have that leaders book?"
Yeah,
No.
right. And then like everything's digital now. You just pull a report from somewhere.
Yeah.
So the other day, my husband and I were home together, and we were picking up, and we're like, hey, let's like straighten up our room, because it just started to become like a catch-all from, pulling stuff out of like the living room to do the
Mhm.
floors. Like the stuff needed somewhere to go. And so we cleaned. Oh my God, it felt so great. It felt so great to walk in there, and like there was space, and it was clean, and it was so wonderful. And I went to put something away, a box of envelopes and like a little organizer, and it's full of stuff. So it's like, hey, let me go through this. I had paperwork for a car that I bought in 2014 that I don't even own anymore. Why? Why do I have the finance documents for a car that I don't even own anymore? I cleaned out that
Yeah.
whole organ. It was just old stuff
Yeah.
that got stuck in there because it was important at one time and nobody ever went back to check up on it. And it's just like so freeing.
Mhm.
It's so freeing to like, it's gone. I just threw it all away.
That's
I
awesome.
don't need it. My sister and I were talking about how somewhere in our lives it was ingrained in us that you have to hold on to your bills. So when a bill comes in the mail and you pay it, you write paid and the date that you paid it, and you file it away in case there's ever a time that the company says you didn't pay them.
I
I don't know where it came from.
I was gonna say I've never heard of anyone doing that.
Okay.
I think that's
So,
like definitely like an old school
oh,
like
for
my
sure.
grandma and grandpa's generation of doing things before anything was digital at all.
I have a filing cabinet that I have got to go through because I have bills from like, I don't know, 2008. Okay. It's too late to do anything about it if it ain't paid. No one's ever like seriously. You could go through a bank statement anymore, like you said. There's like so many different ways you can find it now.
Yeah.
So my husband and I are putting together like a big burn box for all these
Hell
like
yeah.
ridiculous papers, but like it's but all that stuff weighs you down, right? Because somewhere, whether it's subconsciously, it's in your brain
Mhm.
that that stuff is here, and it's just everywhere, and it does, it weighs on you.
Yeah.
And so there's so many books about it. There's like feng shui books. There's another, I forget now what it's called, but there's so many books on decluttering your space that helps
Mhm.
you declutter your mind, because it's less that you have to think about, which
Yeah.
gives you more time to think about the things that you want out of life. And it comes full circle. And it's amazing when it all starts to connect and you're just like,
Yeah. And I think like that's really important. Like I know it seems like we might have gotten off topic, but it all definitely goes together. Like you
I'm
declutter your
long-winded.
mind, it, you declutter your mind, and whether it's in your forefront of your brain or in your subconscious, like you start decluttering things, you're gonna feel so much clearer. You're gonna be more in touch with the universe and being in a more positive mindset, and actually be able to manifest and put your things into fucking reality.
And relax, right?
Yeah.
Stress is another blocker.
Yeah,
And
guilty.
yeah, and so sometimes, I mean, maybe it's just me, but sometimes when I get overwhelmed with something, or I start to beat myself up, which is the opposite of self love, about how I'm being lazy. I literally was just doing this to myself yesterday
Mhm.
because I was just feeling so drained. Like I could not take another step. I didn't want to do anything else. I just wanted to be left alone, turn the freaking TV on, what I call rot my brain. Like
Yeah.
I just wanted to go, I guess, numb, just lay there for a minute and do nothing, not think about anything. And I couldn't. You know why? Because the other day when I was cleaning out my room, we were matching socks because I had an entire laundry basket full of socks that needed matched. Well, there was still laundry being washed. So the socks that didn't have a match, I said, this is your stay of execution. You can stay on this table until the laundry is done. If you do not find a mate, you get thrown out. Well, it got late that day and the laundry sat in the dryer. So now this is day two that the laundry is in the dryer and the socks are on the table and the blanket's not folded and there's junk lying all around. Why is there a basket of folded blankets just sitting on the couch? Why is it not put away? And so as you're trying to lay there and relax, you
Mhm.
can't, because as you visualize your surroundings, you're like, I should really get up and do that, but I don't want to. I should really go do that, but I don't want to. And so you play this game and you start to beat yourself up. Why are you being so fucking lazy? Just get up and do it. And yeah,
I
I was
kind
not
of want to shake you a little bit because, like, we just had this conversation about reframing. Like, it's not like don't beat yourself up.
oh,
If
but
laundry sits there, it's because
so I'm crazy because I have like these arguments in my head where one side of me is like, why are you being so fucking late? So it's
it's not
me and
crazy.
Veronica
It's not crazy. Been there,
having
done that, still do it.
Veronica sits there and is like, I don't know why you're being so lazy. You're being so lazy. This is the opposite of productive. This is not how you get a clean house. And I'm like, Veronica, shut up.
Yeah,
No one cares. I will do it later. It will get done when it gets done.
yeah. I just want to relax.
I did.
I honestly think like another big awakening is getting ready to happen. The fact that like a bunch of us are just feeling so drained. This is a completely different topic, but one thing is like when for those of us that are like semi awake and awake, like we start feeling very drained because those people that are not awake are taking energy from us unintentionally, but like using our energy to waken themselves up. And like there are so many of us that are just like, I'm just so fucking drained. Like I haven't felt this drained in a long time, and I'm literally not doing
Same.
anything. Like
Same.
I tried to play video games today, and I did for like a little bit. I was hunting, but I was like I got maybe an hour into the game, and I'm like I don't even want to sit here. I'm so fucking drained that I can't even concentrate on a super easy video game. Like the game is literally I was tracking I shot a deer and I was tracking this deer for a fucking hour because I obviously didn't get a kill shot. So I'm tracking this deer for a fucking hour. Literally nothing like really needed. Like I can push a button on the mouse and I auto walk the direction I want to go, and I'm just sitting here and I'm like I don't even want to watch my character walking. Like I am so fucking drained. So I shut the game off and I went downstairs and been watching the Jersey Shore.
I was the same. I didn't even want to watch a TikTok video. The TikTok video isn't even a minute long, and I was like, and I can't.
Yeah, it's just so drained. I mean, I
went to bed super early because I was just like, I can't. I just need to not be right now. I just need to be asleep right now.
And that's what your body needs. And I'm sure the universe is giving you those signs like, hey, fucking like just take a break and relax. Don't overthink it. The socks will be there tomorrow and you can throw them away tomorrow. Like be easy on yourself.
No, 100%. And again, we've talked about this, and like in some ways, like I think it's good for the show. Like we still struggle. We're not like it's not all rainbows and butterflies every day where it's like the life is the greatest. Every second.
I mean, and honestly, if anyone that portrays that like they have everything down to a T and that they have zero issues whatsoever, I would steer clear of them because they're scam artists, in my opinion. Because literally, everyone has issues. No one's healing journey is ever complete because you're going to heal from one thing and you're going to have to heal from another thing. Like you're never fully healed. Like, yes, you might be, you'll have someone that's more awake than, I am, but you'll have someone that's more awake than they are. Like, of course, you're going to have like these different levels of awakeness. But even the person that is the most awake, I don't even know who that would be, but the most awake person in the fucking world that is like literally walking with their higher self hand in hand has issues. And so anyone that says that they don't have issues and they don't still have days where they struggle, then they're scam artists and stay the fuck away from them. My opinion.
So that brings me to a thought that I had. I was listening to a podcast called It's Fine, You're Fine, We're Fine. I think it was called something like that. Mm-hmm. It's pretty good. But she says on there's like their co-hosts, and the one lady said that the more you know about yourself, the less you know about yourself. And I think it sounds silly, but if you think about it, like you said, you heal from one thing, which kind of opens up to another thing that opens up to another thing. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if we mentioned it before, but there's like so many different things to heal from, whether it be things that happen to you in this life or karma from a past life, mm-hmm. or yeah, it's just so many different things. And as you learn more, you realize there's still more.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not a bad thing.
Mm.
It's a journey. And what's that saying? Life is a journey, so enjoy it. Like, don't be so focused on where you're going or getting to the destination. Just enjoy the journey. And I think that's like,
Who just said that to me? Somebody just said something similar to me. Did we talk about this last week?
no,
Somebody
nothing.
literally just said it's not the destination, it's the adventure of the journey that you're currently on, or something similar. That's so crazy. Because somebody just said that to me recently. I don't even know what we were talking about because, like, I don't even know what we were talking about. I mean, I know I got a lot going on, but, like, to get from point A to point B, like, don't worry about getting to point B. Just enjoy the fucking ride, you
Yeah.
know? And enjoy the lessons, the assignments that the universe gives you, because it's all for a reason to get you to your point B. You might have to stop at D, E, F, and G before you get to B. I think I skipped some letters, but anyways,
It's okay.
you get the point. Just enjoy the ride.
Yeah. I don't know. So is there anything else that, like, again, this is like, you could go on forever.
Yeah.
Things to, I guess, get more education on is like the angel numbers, whether repeating or sequential. Sequential also means things like 1, 2, 3, 4 is really just you're moving forward. Um,
I was gonna say I actually have this angel numbers book. So, one thing that like I used to do, I haven't opened this book up in a really long time, but I would like say I'm thinking about something. Oh, I thought you were frozen. I was like, did I just lose my internet? But say you're thinking about something and you're just like, man, like I really need like some sort of guidance, like universe, just give me a sign. And then like say you check your clock right now, it's 8:47 my time, so 8:47. So let's see what 8:47 says. Just for the funsies of it, because like I'm not really thinking anything specific. I was just using it as an example. But I open up my little angel numbers book and I go to 8:47 and shut the fuck up! Oh my god, you're gonna die.
Tell me.
8:47 is titled Cluttered Path. It says address. Oh my god, this is crazy. See, this is the shit I'm talking about. You guys are seeing this in semi-real time. Like, I know it's recorded right now, but you're seeing this like in real fucking time. So it says address procrastination. When you deal with all the things you've let accumulate in your life, new pathways to abundance are created. Think of a present area of your life that has been on your mind recently. Take action to get it in order today. That is insane.
The socks, Liz.
Clean up the socks. But
I love it.
That's so.
This
that's
has been
so
happening this whole episode.
I know, from the fucking affirmative cards to the angel. That's so crazy. Like that's crazy.
There was a long pause back there. It was my face. Yeah. And just sheer shock. Speechless.
Yeah, my fucking mind is blown right now. But like that's something I do. So this is for if I can get it in focus. So for those of you that want to find, I got this on Amazon. It's literally just called the Angel's Number Book. So that's one way that you can, get a sign from the universe. Like obviously, like don't open it up every minute just to try to find like, say you're reading through it, which I don't read through this to find like numbers that I want. Like the only time I open it up is if I want to know the meaning behind a number. But if you're just like every minute, like show me a sign. Okay, now it's 8:49. Let's see what 8:49 says, and like doing it every minute. Don't do that. Just when you're really struggling and you want some sort of a sign, that's just another tool you can use. And you literally just saw how that works, because that's crazy. That was not planned, you guys. I swear
so crazy.
On everything that was not
and
planned.
Sometimes too, like I said, if you miss it the first time, they'll keep sending it till you get it. So if you keep seeing 847 847 847, like just randomly on a mailbox or a license plate or whatever, you're like, dang, I keep seeing this number everywhere.
Yeah,
you should probably look into that.
Yeah, or not even a number. If you assigned a symbol to something like the cardinal, maybe you missed the cardinal flying past your face because you were just tunnel vision, and then you're driving and then you see like a picture of a cardinal, but you're not really paying attention. And then all of a sudden you're driving and you see a car in front of you and there's like a sticker and they have a cardinal and you're like, wait a minute. And then you start thinking, you're like, oh my God, I've been seeing cardinals all day. Like the universe has been showing me, so they're gonna keep showing you those signs.
Oh, we were going to talk about the 3D printer.
Oh, yes. Do the 3D printer. This one's fun.
So I feel like I don't sometimes my analogies are like in the moment analogies. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see if I can conjure this one back up to the forefront of my brain. But when I first started realizing that this was like for real and you could really do it, it was like, so you have your 5D you, which is your higher self, right? And then there's the 3D you, which is who you see in front of you if you're watching us. So that's kind of what manifesting is. Your higher self and yourself work together. And how do I want to explain this? But basically, you put a thought out into the world, right? An intention, an affirmation, whatever you want to call it, however you do it, a prayer, right? And then that 5D dimension, I know I just said 5D dimension, but that dimension, that higher dimension, then works together to print it out like into the 3D world. So that was happening a lot to me. It was nothing big, but just little things. And like one day I was sitting in a book and I was like, I will receive unexpected money today. I will receive unexpected money today. I was just testing the waters. And I get home and I have a check from my cable company that says, this is not a bill. Stop paying your bill. You have overpaid your bill by $900. Apparently, my bill went down at some point. We made some changes and I had just been continuing to send them the same amount of money. So it didn't come in the form of cash, but like now I don't have to pay my internet provider for like the whole next year.
Yeah, nice.
And so I put a thought out into the world and like Wonka vision, it like printed itself into something tangible on the three dimension, on the third dimension.
Yes, in the 3D world. And you got to think about it this way, like 3D printers, like in real life, like in our physical life, because our physical life is the 3D. So 3D printers take time to print up whatever it is. Like if you want it to print a fucking shape of a pencil, it's not going to print right away. So just keep that in mind. Like that's why I love the 3D printer analogy, because not only is it like correlate with, the 3D, like, we tell people stop thinking, you're ignore your reality. Like that's that's 3D. Like stop thinking 3D. You need to start thinking with your higher self. And if you want things to form in the 3D, it takes time to print that shit out.
I love that.
Yeah.
So that was like the time, you remember the office space? So I was moving out of my cave into our shared space, and another one of our coworkers really wanted his own office. And so there was like this office became available, and I didn't tell anybody I was moving. I just moved out. I just little by little started moving my stuff every day. And so then it became like a war in the office. So when I moved, the coworker was like, oh my God, are you moving out of there? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, can I have that office? And I was like, yeah. I remember, and we were all excited. We came up with this plan. It was like, oh man, this is all working out. And everybody was excited. And I was like, I manifested this for you. Like I was like on, cloud nine. And then the lieutenant colonel walked in and was like, no, we're good. That's somebody else. And I was immediately deflated. I mean, like lowest level of deflation.
Completely killed the mood.
Just ruined the whole day. And so later on in the day, I was just feeling kind of like, it really did. It really affected me because like, I was so excited and I was like, I manifested this. This is amazing. I'm a 3D printing machine. And then it immediately got sucked away. And I was like, no, there's no way. That's not possible. We created so much positive energy in this room, like putting this whole thing together and how it was aligning. And it was just like this crazy experience for just one person to walk in and be like, nah.
Yeah.
It really did just like harsh my mellow for the rest of the day. So I went for a ride on my horse. And I think I told you about this. And I wound up writing like a journal entry about it. But like, my ride with my horse was literally like a 3D printing of what was happening to me, like on that 5D emotional level of like what transpired through the day. Like we were going up and we were going down, and like I got lost, which was like that funky feeling that I had for the rest of the day. I literally got lost in the woods and had to GPS my way out of there. And it was it was crazy how it then again kind of it, again, it's hard to explain because it was a lot of like feeling
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, but it's just crazy how it can all like come together like that. And just like I said, you print something small, it doesn't take as long as when you print something big.
Right.
So I think that was a really great kind of, I don't know, add on. There's got to be a better word for that. But.
Yeah, I don't know. Not too good with the words today. My brain's like, I'm telling you, I'm fucking exhausted, and this dog is gonna get strangled if he doesn't stop. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna hurt my dog. You guys know that I love him. I was actually singing lullabies to him last night, and I was like, I was cracking myself up because I just made up a lullaby, and I was like dying laughing. I was like, I cannot believe like I just sat here and sung a lullaby to my fucking dog. But it's just it's the little things you got to do to make yourselves, feel better and laugh more, put yourself in that positive mindset to, make your manifestations become a reality. And just remember that, whatever is happening in front of you, like it's only temporary. And, the universe has plans for you and is going to steer you in the right direction to make your things a reality. Just don't get frustrated and put yourself in that lower vibration state.
I love it. And find the good stuff. No matter what's happened to you in your life, there's always a reason, and you can rise above it, and you just have to focus your intentions there. I used to call it hell or high water. I didn't realize that was really me focusing my intentions.
Yeah.
And when I was like, come hell or high water, this is what I'm doing. That's what we were doing.
Yeah.
And so now that, I know a little bit more about it, you can kind of hone those skills a little bit, but it's the same concept.
Mm-hmm.
And trust me, I've been down some roads.
Yeah.
That were not really roads, improvised.
Yeah, improvised roads. But just remember, everybody's journey is different. And, like we've said over and over, we are not subject matter experts. We're newbies on a spiritual journey. So don't come at us and be like, you're wrong about this. Like, this is what works for us. It's not
and what we've learned so far.
Yeah, and what we've learned so far. So don't be hateful. Educate. Yeah. And you guys can always email us at the Cosmic Compass Podcast at gmail.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe us on the YouTube and follow us on the TikTok and the Instagram and the Spotify. I think that's it. I think that's all of our plugs.
Yeah.
Right.
And just know you got this.
Yeah.
And if there is a technique or anything related to the topic that you'd like us to further discuss or whatever, we can totally do that too.
Yeah, definitely.
Or like you said, if you want to educate us, and then we can talk about that and discuss and test it out. And it's exciting. There's no wrong way. Oh. It's your way.
Yeah.
And so then it's perfect.
Yep. Whatever works for you. Like, everybody's different. Just come at it from a place of love and light.
It's the only rule. It's the only real rule.
Yeah, literally the only rule. But all right, buddy. Anything else?
No, I think we kind of covered the gist of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we appreciate you guys all hanging out with us and listening to us ramble like we love to do. But I enjoy it. I rarely have so much fun doing this show. So thank you guys so much.
Same.
All right. Next time.
Thanks, guys.
I don't know what I just said, but bye.